there is a country without a nation. And God now, in his wisdom and mercy, directs us to a nation without a country. His own once loved, nay, still loved people, the sons of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob.
So writes Anthony Ashley Cooper, the 7th Earl of Shaftesbury, in his diary in 1854. Decades later, Jewish Zionists would adapt from this their own motto: a land without a people for a people without a land. A well-known social reformer who labors on behalf of working women, exploited children, and the insane, Lord Shaftesbury is considered the moral conscience of the nation. A contemporary describes him as having the purest, palest, stateliest exterior of any man in Westminster. A champion of all marginalized groups, Shaftesbury is especially concerned for Jews, for there his concern is rooted in his religious identity. He joins the London Society for the Promotion of Christianity amongst the Jews, or Jew Society as it is known. He became its head in 1848 and serves in that capacity until his death in 1885, a period of 37 years. Shaftesbury is on the lookout for a modern Cyrus, a man chosen by God to lead the Jewish people back to the land of Israel. He settles on Lord Palmerston, the Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, who also happens to be his stepfather-in-law. Shaftesbury's motives are religious, Palmerston's imperial. Shaftesbury writes,
Palmerston has been chosen by God to be an instrument of good to his ancient people and to recognize their rights without believing their destiny.
Palmerston is interested in propping up the Ottoman Empire in order to protect, as he puts it, the road to India. The Ottoman Empire has recently been threatened by Mehmet Ali, an Albanian freebooter who has made himself ruler of Egypt and is backed by France. Shaftesbury persuades Palmerston to appoint a consul in Jerusalem to protect Christian and Jewish interests. British Vice-Consul William Tanner Young arrives in Palestine in 1839. Young describes the condition of the Jews in Ottoman Palestine.
The Jew in Jerusalem is not estimated in value, much above a dog, and scarcely a day passes that I do not hear of some act of tyranny and oppression against a Jew. It is quite a new thing in the eyes of these people to claim justice for a Jew.
So tireless is Young on behalf of the Jews that his superior, the Consul General at Alexandria, complains that Mr. Young is granting British protection in an indiscriminate manner to all Jews. Shaftesbury next convinces Palmerston that a Jewish nation with a landed interest in Palestine would help prop up the sprawling Turkish Empire. On August 11, 1840, Palmerston cables to the British ambassador in Constantinople.
It would be of manifest importance to the Sultan to encourage the Jews to return and to settle in Palestine. Returning under the sanction and protection and at the invitation of the Sultan would be a check upon any future evil designs of Muhammad Ali or his successor.
That same year, Restorationism catches fire in England as a result of the Damascus blood libel in which Jews are accused of the ritual murder of a Capuchin monk. Lady Palmerston, more than a little perturbed by her son-in-law's religious convictions, writes in 1840,
"We Whigs have on our side the fanatical and religious elements, and you know what a following they have in this country. They are absolutely determined that Jerusalem and the whole of Palestine shall be reserved for the Jews to return to. This is their only longing."
But the Sultan turns down Palmerston's suggestion, seeing it as a trick to implant British interests in the midst of Ottoman lands. The next year, 1841, Shaftesbury succeeds in pushing through his project for a joint Prussian-British bishopric in Jerusalem. Shaftesbury is given the role of bishop-maker and chooses a converted Jew, Michael Solomon Alexander. From the perspective of the Jew Society, the bishopric is their crowning achievement.
An accomplishment of the prophecy of Isaiah. It is nearly overwhelming to see a native Hebrew appointed by the Church of England to carry back to the holy city the truths and blessings which Gentiles had received from it.
Not to be outdone, the French, Prussians, and Russians all established their own consuls and institutions in Jerusalem, of which the Russian compound is the most impressive. The Jew Society also establishes a school where Jews can learn a trade and in 1844 open a hospital. The rabbis who lead the Jewish community of Jerusalem are dismissive.
We, the seed of Israel, the holy nation, have nothing to do with foreign sciences, wisdom, works, thoughts, and medicines, and such like.
Nonetheless, the Jewish community benefits enormously from all the foreign jockeying for influence. When the rabbis call on Jews in the diaspora for help in combating the missionaries, the Rothschild family responds by funding a Jewish hospital, with a second one following a few years later. Most important, the Jews suddenly enjoy a measure of foreign protection. Over the centuries, Jews had made numerous attempts to return to Eretz Yisrael, but oppressive rule made life intolerable. Historian Ben Zion Dinu writes,
"The arrival of the 300 rabbis was celebrated abroad far more than the departure of their sons."
But now, with protection against the arbitrary and anti-Jewish rule of the Turks, the Jewish population grows rapidly, so that by the time of the First Zionist Congress in 1897, Jews have become a majority in Jerusalem for the first time since the Roman conquest. Lord Shaftesbury is prescient when he writes in 1840,
The ancient city of the people of God is about to resume a place among the nations, and England is the first of Gentile kingdoms that ceases to tread her down.